This week at Macy's, get great deals on fashion and home essentials. Update your wardrobe with 20% off new spring shoes and sneakers. And 20 to 50% off fresh looks for him and her. Plus, transform your space with Luxe Hotel Collection bedding, now 40% off. And Macy's Star Rewards members can earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. More at Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems, Amazon TV, and YouTube. Join Rox Burkey for today's show.
Good evening, and welcome to the Indie Beacon Show. I'm Rox Burkey, and I'm here this evening with a new author to me, Rosa Smith. Welcome, Rosa.
Thank you. Good evening.
I am so glad that we can have this conversation because your little children's book, I mean, it is just amazing. So,
well, thank you.
No problem. So, The Adventures of Leo and Fancy. What a sweet title. So, tell me about Leo the cat.
Well, Leo somehow, he feels lonely. And he is looking for a friendship, looking for someone, looking for a house. But they found each other. Later on, they found each other with Fancy, which is a dog. And Fancy is the one who protects him and tries to educate him. Even though Leo, he is very innocent, and whatever he does it on purpose.
Oh, all right. So he's kind of adventuresome, even though he's a little bit innocent, only because he's naive.
Yes.
Very nice. So, it's not very likely that a dog and a cat will become friends. So what gave you the idea for this?
Actually, when I started writing, I was like, well, I think we all can be friends. I mean, nowadays, and animals, I think they can be friends too. So when I started writing, that was my first question. But in my head, I was like, I think we can all be friends.
So good. So what grade level have you written this book to? Because that's always important with children books, right?
Yes, it is. 5 to 13.
Okay, 5 to 13. So at that rate, I mean, it's even good for grandparents who want to read a story to their grandchildren. It doesn't necessarily have to be read by the child.
No. Actually, I have had some grandparents read the book and to their kids, and they enjoyed it. Yes.
Oh, that's
awesome. It is a picture book, so I think it's kind of like much easier for kids to understand it.
Now, it would seem, since you said, we can all get along, and a dog and a cat, that there are certainly some lessons you're trying to convey in this book. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the main life lesson?
It talks about kindness, trying to understand each other, being friendly, mainly kindness, compassion.
Okay, so kindness and compassion, even when you're very, very different. And, quite honestly, cats and dogs are very, very different, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when you put this together, because, let's see, when did this book actually come out, Rosa?
It was in 2019. Okay. I think it was the end of 2019. It's been a little bit more than a year.
Okay, so 2019, before we were kind of all put into lockdown, you've got a really good story going about diversity and friends and all of that, and friendship.
Yes.
So a lot of creatures, whether they be these animals or people, certainly have to develop some ways of how to be friends, right?
Yes, to get along.
Does it make it easier in a child's book to be able to do that, in your opinion?
Excuse me?
Does it make it easier, in your opinion, for a child's book to be able to show that and make that more relevant?
I believe so.
Okay. So I know you have children too, right?
I do. I have 3.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're grown-ups out of college.
Okay, so they're grown up, and you wrote this then after they were grown up, but did you think about them when you wrote it?
To be honest, no. No, I want to be honest, no, I didn't think about my kids. Because when I started writing, I started writing and I still write just for fun. I didn't start it because of trying to get somewhere. It was just for fun. It's something that I love to do.
Well, okay, so writing's fun. That's very good. To go down a path of a children's book as your first venture into writing or publishing, anyways. Why did you decide this was the story you wanted to do that with?
When I asked myself, why did I pick Leo? Because I had written so many stories. When I think about Leo, it just got my attention. And years later, when my kids read it, actually they were the ones telling me, Mom, I think this is a good story. I think you should try to do something with it. So, and here you go. But I fell in love with the story, even though, like I said, I have written many stories, and this is the first one. But I just fell in love with the story.
So I know from the reviews that have been done on this story that truly reading them to grandchildren has been something that the reviewers have done. And the teaching of kindness to children has certainly been highlighted. Now, Rosa, you have a really fascinating background because you were actually born in El Salvador.
Yes.
Which is a fascinating Central American country.
It's beautiful.
And how does that lead to what heart and soul you put into this story?
Unconsciously, probably there's a little bit of back when I was little.
Huh?
That's what I think so. Because I started writing when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And I came to the United States when I was 18, I believe. And I think it has to be a little bit of what I went through when I was growing up. People not getting along, things like that.
So this has given you a way to show how much heart you have. Even though maybe you've had to overcome some things, it hasn't spoiled your heart.
Probably, yes, even though I don't notice that. A lot of people tell me that, but I just don't know if I do.
Okay, so we're going to take a short break to listen to our sponsors, Rosa, and then I want to come back and talk a little bit about your method that you use to write, okay?
Okay, sure.
Authors Marketing Guild, a membership-owned company where authors can learn how to better market and sell their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com.
Well, What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to care for a loved one? Well, during COVID, almost all of us have been doing just that. I'm Charlotte Canyon, award-winning author, actress, and speaker. And my book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, shows you how you can revive, thrive, and survive with 4 golden rules. You have to love one another. You have to respect one another. You have to have patience with one another. And most of all, you've got to forgive one another. I'm Charlotte Canyon, and I approve this message.
Publishing marketing package for authors. $1,500 value, save 40% now. Includes a 6-piece marketing kit of 250 bookmarks, 250 business cards, 250 postcards, 1 table banner, 1 table runner, and 50 download cards, plus book cover design, ebook creation, PDF setups, upload to Ingram Spark, scroll placement, video commercial, and interview on IBS, plus much more. Email bourgeoismedia@look.com for details or bourgeoismedia.com.
To embrace your children's imagination, check out Diane Floyd Bame's books for kids. There's The Moonling Adventures, all about the animals in the Serengeti. And then there's Harry the Camel, learning to love yourself just the way you are. Then The Little Girl in the Moon. There's one about friendship, another one about the big ideas, which is an inspirational story. And then Tour Tycho Town, right there in Tycho Crater on the moon. All of Diane Floyd Bame's books are available at B4R Store.
Do you send book sales to a company that takes most of your money? Do you want a bookstore that supports you? Want to earn more money from your book sales? Introducing a bookstore for indie authors and small press only. Earn up to 80% of your book sales and learn how to better market yourself. Join the 150 authors already signed up to earn their fair share at b4r.store. Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems, Amazon TV, and YouTube. Join Rox Burkey for today's show.
Welcome back to the Indie Beacon Show, and I am here this evening with a wonderful children's author that I'm really getting to know, Rosa Smith. She is the author of The Adventures of Leo and Fancy. So we talked about Leo, and we talked a little bit about Fancy and how they're friends, and they're very different because they are a cat and a dog, respectively. But I really want to get into some of the mechanics that you use to create this short story, because there's a trick to creating children's books that are compelling and all of that. But this is not the first thing you've written. I mean, you wrote short stories, you wrote poems, but then you put this together. So tell me about the process. What process did you use, Rosa?
I like to be honest. I am a gifted writer. So the methods that I used, it just came naturally to me, and I cannot explain it. I don't know how to put them in words. It was just like, I just started from one idea and I just go on and on and on. But to be honest, I don't know which one I used.
No, but it came together really nicely. The other thing that's very interesting in this particular book are the graphics.
Thank you.
So tell me about the graphics, because from the cover on, they're beautiful.
Well, my kids, I had the idea. I gave the idea of what I really, really wanted. And I started sketching by myself. And then I just gave it to the kids. They took over, the 3 of them, and they put the final magical touch up to the pictures, which I'm happy with it.
Well, it kind of makes the whole family affair, right? That's pretty neat.
Yes.
Now, you're actually, from a professional career perspective, you really have